South Dakota State returns to the FCS playoffs, ready to run it back in the quest for a third straight title. And check that out, it's a legendary coach, John Stiglmeyer, even getting it a shot against Montana. It's 45 degrees in Brookings, South Dakota, so safe to say the weather is cooperating. Can't say the same about the Montana Grizzlies. They are playing at South Dakota State for the first time since 1970 and looking for revenge. The 24-team bracket is down to 16 teams. On the left side of the bracket, top seed Montana State. On the right side, you'll find Jacks and Griz. Winner moves on to face UIW or Nova. With that, hello and welcome to a beautiful day at Brookings, South Dakota. Lowell Galindo, Fozzie Whitaker. How about this? The Jacks open up the SCS playoffs against the team they beat in the championship game last season, the Montana Grizzlies. They bring back Junior Bergen, returner extraordinaire, who bailed them out against Tennessee State last week. However, last season, the Jackrabbits stayed away from Junior. What happens today?
Well, just like my lapel pin, you see Pikachu riding on top of Charizard.
Pikachu!
Junior Bergen is absolutely electric. He epitomizes what Pikachu is. Whenever he touches the rock, he is liable to go the distance. 8 career punt return touchdowns, which ties FCS history, and he did it twice just last week to give him the nod over Tennessee State. Coach Rogers has his hands full, but better believe he's making sure he does not kick the ball his way. But on the opposite side, right, we got Pikachu. Now we got to bring in the Charizard reference. Mark Gronski has set the FCS world ablaze with his fire-breathing talent. Ever since he stepped onto the football field, 120 total touchdowns in his career by Mark Gronski. Obviously, back-to-back FCS National Championship quarterback. He has what it takes to help will his team, and he knows what it takes to be able to get them into the big game.
Man, if you're bringing out Pikachu, I know it's a big game, because that's pretty much on top of the mountain.
That's the top of the mountain, absolutely. Both of these guys, Pikachu and Charizard, my 2 favorite Pokemon. 2 favorite teams going at it right now.
And there is Junior Bergen back for the return. He's got 1 kick return for a touchdown in his career as the Jacks won the toss, elected to defer, and immediately we see the Jacks staying away from Bergen, and this is Xavier Harris trying to weave through the Jacks special teams unit. He's shy of the 20-yard line. The big question here for the Griz, who will be the starting quarterback? It's been Logan Fife for most of the year. He struggled with 2 fumbles lost in the first-round win against Tennessee State, and it looks like it will be a change at quarterback with Keali'i Ayat, redshirt freshman out of Hawaii, the son of the legendary Brian Ayat, Grizzly All-American, getting the starting quarterback. He will have one of the best running backs in the FCS to his right, Eli Gilman. And running on first down with Gilman, going up against a South Dakota State defense that is #1 in the FCS, holding opponents to 12 points a game.
Yeah, and this run defense is very stingy, only giving up 90 yards a game, ranking 3rd in the country. Gilman has his work cut out for him, but ultimately that's what they're going to have to rely on to move the ball effectively against this defense.
Ayat to throw, swings it to Gilman off his fingertips. He felt Adam Buck bearing down on him. I don't know if you're going to find a better trio of linebackers in college football than what the Jackrabbits have.
Yeah, between Bach, Spalding, and Francil, all making plays for this Jackrabbit defense. Be alert, Coach Bobbitt really loves to bring pressure, and that's what keeps the opposing offense behind schedule, where South Dakota State has been really good on 3rd downs.
3rd and 7, we'll see what Ayat is made of here. Head coach Bobby Houck really didn't know what he was going to do at quarterback. Halfway through this week, taking a shot downfield, Keelan White, and it's overthrown, and it will be a 3-and-out on the opening possession, forced by the Jackrabbits defense.
And that's exactly what the Jackrabbits like to do. 28 conversion percentage for opposing offenses. You see the one-on-one opportunity. Keelan White not able to haul in that pass, slightly overthrown, but that is what Montana will need to do in order to loosen up the pressure that the Jackrabbits bring on 2nd and 3rd downs.
Ty Morrison is on to punt this one away. It's not like the Jacks have a slouch returning their kicks. You got Dallas Beamham. He calls for the fair catch, and it will be solid field position to start for the ultimate winner in FCS football. That man, Mark Gronski, 11-1 all-time in the postseason.
Yeah, he's been absolutely immaculate. And you see, since he stepped foot on, 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. 2022, 26 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, on the way to an FCS national championship. Again, last year, 29 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, another back-to-back national championship, and Walter Payton Award winner a season ago.
National title win against the Grizzlies was the 29th straight win for South Dakota State. They enter the FCS playoffs with 2 losses under their belt this season. Number 3 national seed. To Amar Johnson, first down carry. Huge hole left side, lowers the shoulder, and that is going to be a pickup of 9 on the first touch for Amar Johnson, a guy you really love out of Missouri.
Yeah, Amar Johnson, 5'10", 205 pounds. He's been absolutely electric this entire season. And you see the combination of Mark Gronski and having the running ability of Amar Johnson helps keep this offense on pace, and they're able to match the ball whenever they want to.
Amar Johnson approaching 800 rushing yards on the season. Had 9 carries for 50 yards against the Griz defense in the championship game last season. Slow mesh, and that's going to be Johnson picking up 3 yards, and that's an early first down for South Dakota State.
And you're going to see the ball finds its way behind right guard, number 61, Evan Burnson, quite a lot. First team All-Missouri Valley Conference right guard, and what he does so well is able to displace the defensive lineman, and there he was on display being able to put up a first down for Amar Johnson.
And tough dudes up front for this Jackrabbits offensive line. We'll get into that. First and 10. Gronski to throw for the first time, looking right side. That's the go-to man, Griffin Wilde. That is a budding connection between the two. Now we talk about the tough guys up front, and that offensive line is full of them.
Yeah, they clear the pocket for Mark Gronski, and the #1 target for Mark Gronski has been Griffin Wilde. Griffin Wilde does a great job one-on-one coverage, snapping it off on the comeback at the top of that route, creating separation, getting a first down.
Left tackle Quentin Christensen playing with a broken toe and a hernia, and he's still out there getting the start for the Jackrabbits. Angel Johnson in backwards, ball is out, and it's still out. Montana pounces on it. The Griz think they have it, and they do. Montana football.
And that's how you do it. Just, it seems as though whenever Mark handing the ball off, there was something going on with the exchange, or actually it was punched out by Noose. Yeah, Noose does a great job punching at the ball as he's securing the tackle. Angel Johnson doesn't have a chance to really secure it as he's trying to avoid the tackler, and doesn't fall on it, and ultimately the Montana Grizzly find a way to create the first turnover on the game and sets up some positive momentum for this offense to try to get it going.
Huge play there by Noose.
Previous plays under further review.
So deciding to take another look at this from our vantage point up here. And see the replay once. Ball was clearly out.
Ball was out.
Montana did fall on it.
Yeah, there's a spot right at the end, and you see Noose knock it away there. The ball is flopping around. We know how crazy that ball gets, and it falls its way back into Angel Johnson's vicinity. They may be taking a look to see if Angel Johnson was able to recover this right at the end, and then maybe it was stripped away by Montana. You see it there,
Riley
out
Wilson.
and about, and then it falls right back in front of Angel Johnson again, and that's a clear recovery right there. I don't think this review will take a long time. Noose does a great job, again, knocking the ball out as soon as the exchange happens. Unfortunately, Angel Johnson's not able to fall on it for his team. The ball's loose again. And then Montana.
Video reviews, the call on the field stands. First down, Montana.
So call stands. It will be Montana football. And after an early 3-and-out, they get the break with the takeaway by Henry Noose. And Noose is a disruptive force on this defensive line out of Kalispell. And see what A yacht can do drive number 2. Stevie Rocker is now his tailback. Solid crowd getting loud. Rocker with the carry. Searching for blocks on the left side, picks up 2. Graham Spalding, part of that linebacker trio, is there to make the stop. What needs to be the approach for Montana offensively with the questions at quarterback?
Well, ultimately, you got to be able to help your young starter, a guy that hasn't played a ton of football for the Grizzly. Being able to tote the rock effectively on 1st and 2nd down will help make it 3rd and manageable for a younger quarterback.
White in motion. Play action. A yacht looking for White, and it's complete at the 40. And the first down pick up by Keelan White. Keelan White so important to this receiving core, especially with Aaron Fonts, the deep target, still trying to get back from injury.
Yeah, we've already seen 2 targets go to White. White does a great job there, snapping it off at the top of that route. On the comeback, the play action, as you see, to help freeze the defense just long enough, provide a little bit of time, and then picking up a big first down.
A yacht now under center. The pitch to Rocker, nowhere to go. Jared DePriest, nice to meet you in the backfield. You're going backwards.
Jared DePriest was absolutely unblockable on this play. You see the ball get off. He beats the left guard. As soon as the ball is taken off, there's nowhere to go for Rocker as soon as he gets the rock. And DePriest says, hey, this is my house. This is what we do. Being able to make a big statement on that first down.
Eric Barker tied in. A yacht to the middle. That's Rocker making a move, but Bach is there. And this is down to the 34-yard line. Frenzel and Bach combining for the tackle.
That's a great job by Yacht being able to find this check down outlet. He's not having that much time on that previous throw to be able to get rid of it, but finding Rocker underneath provides a big chunk play to make it 3rd and medium. This is where Bobbitt likes to heat it up as the defensive coordinator. Make sure you protect, but find a way to get your one-on-one matchup and exploit that on this play.
3rd and 6, empty for Kealii. A yacht looking for the end zone to White. There was a tug on the jersey, no flag, as that was Colby Humphrey, 2nd team All-Missouri Valley Football Conference selection. And it comes up with a stop to force 4th down, but a yacht in the offense at the moment staying out there as Eli Gilman now checks back into the game, replacing Stevie Rocker.
The wind playing a big factor. You can see more 4th down conversions or more 4th down attempts actually taking place.
And this is the side of the field where the wind right now is the biggest issue. A yacht rolling. He was looking at Gilman. Late throw complete to the 20. Into the midst of Junior Bergen. The special team standout doing it offensively.
Yeah, being able to get a yacht on the move, I think truly helps get him to operate. And obviously, he can tuck it and run if he needed to, but Junior Bergen one-on-one with Tucker Large finds a way to break out of his route, gets that separation, then pick up the first 4th down conversion of the game and puts them right inside of the red zone in scoring territory.
That's a man that knows what time it is. Playoff time, winning time. That's when Bergen makes his magic. Gilman with the carry, tries to bounce, cuts back inside. Bach is there so quick. It's like he knows what play Montana is about to run.
Yeah, I played with a guy that had instincts like that by the name of Luke Kuechly in the NFL. Adam Bach, he just is a cerebral player. As soon as he diagnoses the formation and the snap, he's already where he's supposed to be, and that means Eli Gilman, you got to figure out where to go after that.
This is the critical red zone possession for Montana. Coach Houck telling us coming into this game, red zone possessions will determine who gets the win. Gilman tripped up. There was something there, but DePriest makes his 2nd standout tackle of this drive.
This is where this defense is so good, too. We see the 2nd big play made by DePriest on this drive. If he's not making that tackle right there, Gilman has an opportunity to be one-on-one and possibly score a touchdown. That's a touchdown-saving tackle by DePriest.
It's a Jacks defense that will try to give you everything underneath to make you then earn it inside the red zone with long, sustained drives. And this is going to be a timeout.
Timeout, South Dakota State. First charge to the first half.
South Dakota State wants to talk about it. Montana pouncing on a football. Bergen converting on 4th down. Griz trying to turn that into points. Score between Montana and South Dakota State in a rematch of last year's championship game. The NCAA FCS championship coverage continues next weekend with quarterfinal coverage across ESPN networks. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Out of the Jackrabbits timeout, trying to come up with a plan to stop Montana here on a 3rd and 8. Threatening now in the red zone after a takeaway. Keali'i Ayat, the quarterback. Ayat was looking for the check down, back shoulder, broken up. Dallas Beanham does it. Listen to the Jacks coaching staff and they will tell you the senior from Omaha has NFL potential.
Yeah, he's absolutely amazing. You see, locating the football, hands up, PBU. And I think if he could have found it a little bit earlier, it might would have been going the other way for the Jackrabbits. Great play by Dallas Beanham, staying in phase with the receiver, forcing a 4th down attempt here.
Now this is the side of the field where the wind, at least in warm-ups, was a little tricky. Let's see how Ty Morrison handles it. Kick is up, and it is good. So Montana strikes first. They get that noose force fumble, turn it into 3 points. So the Grizzly up on top of the 2-time defending champs from South Dakota State. That's a win for Coach Houck, but it is early here in Brookings. It's the 2nd round of the FCS playoffs here in Brookings, South Dakota. Coach Bobby Houck went to Montana, ran track there, was a basketball manager. His brother, Tim Houck, defensive coordinator, was a standout on the football team, but it is Bobby that has come back, and now in his 2nd stint as head coach of the Griz. That's the winningest coach in the history of the Big Sky Conference. Does an outstanding job.
4-time conference coach of the year as well. Shows you his lineage and what he's meant to this team and that program and all that they've been able to accomplish.
I'm surprised he's not wearing short sleeves. I mean, it's now 49 degrees here in Brookings. This is unheard of. It was single digits last weekend. We all dodged the bullet with that first round bye for South Dakota State.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Whoever
is responsible for this lovely weather. Short kick. Montana actually was able to recover a short kick like this last week against Tennessee State. Banging, and then a fine job by Maxwell Woods to go up and over to take this thing out to the 45-yard line. So that short kick worked against Tennessee State, not against these Jackrabbits.
Yeah, Jackrabbits were obviously ready. And then remember, the wind plays a big factor in the kicking game. Going in that south direction might have been the reason why the blue kick might have been an opportunity. It backfires on Montana and sets up great field position for Mark Gronski and the Jackrabbits.
Threw it once on the opening drive. It was a 10-yard completion to his go-to man, Griffin Wilde. Angel Johnson had the fumble, turned into 3 points for Montana. Gronski gives to Amar Johnson, such a patient runner, to the 45. And it's a modest pickup of about 3 yards on 1st down.
You're going to see a little wrinkle thrown in on that play as well. A little unbalanced shift by the Jackrabbits. Sometimes that helps open up another gap for the running backs to be able to hit. Be on the lookout for that to play out over the course of the game, of how Montana continues to play against that unbalanced front.
Well, we heard from Jimmy Rogers and the South Dakota State staff that they wanted to get Gronski into a rhythm early with the passing game, because that would set up the running game and take pressure off him to run, because he's an excellent runner, as we see case in point, and the great feel for the slide, but gives himself up at the 49-yard line, so that's going to be 2 yards shy.
Yeah, but that's that veteran leadership by this quarterback who has a ton of experience. Looks at his first read, it's covered up on the hitch route. Second read, they have a corner route right behind it, that smash concept. Montana does a great job taking that away. Then Mark says, let me tuck it, pick up positive yardage.
Looked like he got through the progressions quickly without rushing.
Exactly. He's still poised in the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, and then tucking it, picking up that positive yard.
Kirby Voorhees checks in at tailback. He's been battling injury. Lead blocker, and a fine job blocking out Riley Wilson to set up the Gronski first down run.
Take a look at Kirby again, inserting himself right off of the edge on Riley Wilson, and then Mark Gronski, with the field that he has, being able to run the rock as a dual threat quarterback, picking up a big first down, and that's something that we may see ramp up more with his utilization in the run game.
They love the tight ends. Alpers 83, Stoffel 87. They can do a little of everything. Wilde in motion. Back to Voorhees on the run, and Voorhees is able to shuffle through for 2 yards. Riley Wilson brings him down. Riley Wilson, second team Big Sky selection. That is the most disruptive, explosive player on this Griz defense.
Yeah, and a lot of times pre-snap, they try to get the linebackers to have bad eyes or bad communication there. Both tight ends moving to the opposite side. Riley Wilson stuck with what he does best, make plays on the field, and that's what he did right there on that last one.
On second down, Gronski deep drop to the 50, throwing for the second time. Complete to Kentrell Prejean, but the solo tackle made by Trevin Gradney. He's wearing that number 37. That is a number of pride. Goes out to a native Montanan every year. Gradney gets that distinction this year.
Yeah, check out Kirby Voorhees being able to open up a clean pocket for Mark Gronski to be able to deliver a strike. I know it was a short game, but being able to do that puts stress on that defense and man-to-man coverage. Great job by Kirby Voorhees on Riley Wilson.
And let's face it, right now at this position of the field, it's 4-down territory for this Jacks offense. Gronski, the screen to Wilde. What a move! Makes a man miss. First down and fighting through more contact to the 30-yard line. The sophomore from Sioux Falls. Talk about upside. Wilde has it.
Perfect job by this offense, being able to anticipate the blitz by Montana. Mark gets a throwing lane to Griffin. He makes Riley Wilson miss like in the spin cycle of a wash machine, and then gets physical, picks up that first down, and it's perfect execution by that offense.
That's something where Montana struggled with last week.
Yes.
Tackling in space against the athletes at Tennessee State. Wilde in motion. Back the other way, goes to Amar Johnson. Looking for breathing room, tries to turn the corner, beats one man and takes it down to the 21-yard line, where he's forced out by Gradney.
Amar Johnson has such a great feel with this offensive lineman to be able to run this outside zone stretch play. If there's not a defender that sets the edge, then as a running back, your tracks tell you to keep on pushing it outside. He does just that. Has enough speed to get the edge and pick up 8 yards on that first down play.
To run in the direction of your left tackle, playing with a hernia and a broken toe, is phenomenal. Looks like a double pass going back the other way to Gronski. Kevin Brenner fed him. Gronski still on his feet, takes a shot. Does he have the end zone? It's going to be close. And the initial spot is inside the 1-yard line. So Kevin Brenner throws it back to Gronski, saving that in the bag of tricks for this moment.
Yeah, who knew Kevin Brenner was going to be a backup quarterback in today's game? Fires a rainbow shot to Mark Gronski, and we talked about how dangerous Gronski can be with his legs, and they're going to have to take another look at that. He may have found his way into the end zone, but great catch.
Gronski gets the push from Brenner this time, so it's Brenner and Gronski getting the Jackrabbits on the board. Brenner and Gronski both considered the team leaders of this offense. And what a wild sequence of events from the throwback from Brenner to Gronski to the tush push. Brenner and Gronski.
And that's one way to do it. This is how you respond. Montana goes down gets 3 points on the board. Well, South Dakota State says if we do not get in our own way, we can find a way to create our own momentum. And they do that. 9 plays there, taking 5 minutes off of the clock to put up 6 points.
Hunter Dustman on for the extra point. And it is good. A 7-3 lead now for the Jackrabbits. And this is how you draw it up here in Brookings, South Dakota. Kevin Brenner, he's healthy, he's become a factor, and he's part of the bag of tricks. Gronski takes it 21 yards inside the 1, then would finish it off to get the Jackrabbits on the board. The flowing locks of Kevin Brenner. I mean, that is a classic football look. You're kind of a wild man on the football field if that's what you're going with the mop.
The flow, bro. Just let it go.
That's him, man. Started off as a defensive end before transitioning over to the offensive side of things. Was always catching footballs after practice, kind of lobbying to get some more looks. And initially, Jimmy Rogers was the defensive coordinator at the time. He did not want Brenner to go to the offensive side of the football. Of course, the defensive guy would say that.
Absolutely.
But it has really ended up working out for the South Dakota State team. Short kick, they're staying away from Bergen, and it's Xavier Harris with his second opportunity, looking for a seam and takes it to the 20-yard line. Unbelievable, though, what Jimmy Rogers has done. He was a longtime defensive coordinator, played under Coach Stiegelmeier. First year as a head coach, follows up a national championship with another one, and has his program rolling. Built in his image, the way he played.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, being a linebacker here, coaching linebackers, defensive coordinator, and having the lineages draw back to this place, he wants to leave it better than he found it. And I'll say he's done a great job of being able to establish that foundation under his regime.
Dude is intense.
Yes, in a good way.
A great guy, easy to talk to, but the players know he coaches like he used to play. There's a flag before Malai Finoti got the carry.
It's going to be a false start, a little early movement by Montana.
False start, number 76, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So Malai Finoti now checks in. This is his 3rd game of the season. Coming off an 8-carry, 46-yard performance in the win against Tennessee State. That was vital because Nick Osmo is down with an injury. He made the trip with Montana, is not going to play in this game. And Osmo, one of the ultimate leaders for this Griz offense. 1st and 15 for a Yacht. A Yacht looking to throw, and he finds his tight end, Evan Schaefer, and that's back just north of the original line of scrimmage.
Finding yardage like that goes a long way to help keeping your offense on schedule with such a stingy defense. You got to pick up the yardage that is there. Everything doesn't have to be downfield, but if the defense gives it to you, be patient enough to be able to take it every single time.
Really, the Jacks defense is banking on you not being patient.
Absolutely.
Second down for the redshirt freshman from Hawaii, and could have been a face mask. I do not see a flag, but that's another completion to Evan Schaefer. Move the chains.
So back-to-back 3-step drop, allowing your young quarterback to be able to release the ball. Yacht finds his first target. Schaefer picks up yardage there. First down, move the sticks. Like I said, if the defense is going to give it to you, then that's his job as a young quarterback to be able to take it.
Schaefer with 4 catches coming into this game. He's got 2 so far. Finoti gobbled up by Caleb Frenzel, showing that disruptive nature that made him a finalist for the Buck Buchanan given to the top defender of the FCS.
Yeah, and this is something that Coach Rogers and Coach Bobbitt are not going to sit around for. They'll give it to you a couple of plays, but then they're going to heat you up. And Caleb off of the edge in that slot position absolutely is a dynamic player. 64 tackles on the season, 7 TFL, and a lot of that comes from the way he's able to get after on the rush.
Former high school quarterback, and here comes Bach and Frenzel. Griz pick it up. Bergen met by Tucker Large in the flat. And that is one heck of a solo stop by Tucker Large. Don't let the last name fool you. He's not the biggest dude around, but he is physical.
He does play large, but that was all set up by Caleb Fransel. What he's able to do on the football field is fly around, and he does it as if his hair is on fire. Buck Buchanan Award finalist, and that's what he does so well, is be able to create havoc and puts this defense in the right position at all times.
And that brings us to the end of the first quarter. Montana struck first, turning a South Dakota State fumble into a field goal. Santa Claus, though, maybe leaving a little present for South Dakota State in the form of that man. One last run for Mark Gronski. He got the Jacks on the board. It's 7-3. Jimmy Rogers played his final game as a linebacker in South Dakota State against this Montana program in Missoula. And what ended up being one of the greatest comebacks ever. Jacks led 48-21 back in 09. Montana came roaring back to win 61-48. Start of the second quarter, Keali'i Ayat got the start at quarterback. He's facing the 3rd and 10. Low snap. Here comes the pressure. Bach nearly got there and broken up. Looking for Sawyer Racanelli, and it is Stephen Arell with the PBU.
That's a great job by Stephen Arell. Whenever you send pressure and blitzes, you're one-on-one island with receivers as a defensive back. Arell does a great job staying right on the hip pocket of Racanelli, getting that PBU, and that's what you got to have, sticky coverage, in order to set up a 4th down punt attempt here by the Montana Grizzlies.
So one breakup from Beanham, and that one from Arell. So the secondary standing out early for South Dakota State. Beanham calls for the fair catch at the 22-yard line. So first drive for South Dakota State. Yeah, the turnover. They come back courtesy of a short kick, great field position. Dialed up that trick play with the pass from Brenner, the tight end, to Gronowski, capped it with a touchdown. This seems, although it's early, a pivotal drive in this game. Montana cannot let South Dakota State build up a big lead.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, this is pivotal because of the momentum factor. Playing at home, getting the crowd involved. We've already seen Montana have one false start early on. You got to take the crowd out of it as much as possible and create a stop here. Force a punt to your electric returner.
Screen to Prejean, and Prejean upended in a hurry by Jackson Lee, the senior out of Missoula.
Jackson Lee, well played, young man. One-on-one opportunity on an island with an explosive runner like Prejean. And you can see, man, all the space that Prejean has available to him, and Jackson Lee just eats it up. And you talked about where they wanted to make improvements from a week ago. Well, that's the improvement there, getting guys down on the ground with one-on-one opportunities.
It's been a different defense. It's allowing 55 points against Weber State and a loss in game number 6. They've cleaned a lot of things up. Angel Johnson bottled up and fighting for no gain. You see Vi Cajo didn't want to let him down. And tight end David Alper's taking some exception to that.
Yeah, big Patrick Hayden, number 99, in the middle of that defensive line, created some havoc by forcing pressure up the gut. You saw the unbalanced look again by South Dakota State. That time, Montana was not fooled by it.
Montana gets a stop here. You know what time it is?
Bergen time. Possibly.
What would be the other possibility? Gronowski, 3rd down, flushed, eyes downfield, rocked by Cajo, and that is going to be well short. There is a flag on the far side of the field, and it looks like it's going to be against Montana.
We'll see what the call is. It appears he's signaling offsides by Montana.
Offside, number 42, defense. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat 2nd down.
So that's Riley Wilson that was offsides, and that should be repeat 3rd down, not 2nd down.
And to your point about the possibility of having to punt it, I don't know if Jimmy Rogers and Dustmen are going to have the opportunity, or give Bergen the opportunity to return one. It's probably going to be out of bounds, as we've already seen on some of these kickoff attempts.
Yeah, Rogers told us he'd rather see 32 yards and out of bounds than 52 yards to Bergen. And that's going to be another flag. Taking a shot. Gronski to Wilde. Caught. That penalty will be declined.
And this is why Mark Gronski is one of the best to do it. And again,
Offside, number 44, defense. The penalty is declined. The result of the play was a first down.
again, up for the Walter Payton Award. He won it last year as the best FCS player in the nation. This is why, with throws like this, knowing that you already have a free play, being able to place it in the bread basket to his #1 go-to target, Griffin Wilde, execution was phenomenal. Sets up a big play and a big explosive for this offense.
Gronski in motion. Gronski in rhythm, taking a shot. Wilde, touchdown! Jackrabbits! The biggest question mark in the offseason. What would South Dakota State do to replace their top 3 receivers from last year's title team? That man is the answer, Griffin Wilde.
And ever since Griffin Wilde has come on the scene, especially late, the chemistry between these two has flourished. You've seen the big explosive play, the play prior. Now you get the big post, miscommunication on the back end, and a little trash talk to go along with it. And Griffin Wilde helps will this team to another touchdown. 4 plays, 78 yards on 2 big explosive plays.
And just to think, Montana had South Dakota State backed up, facing a 3rd and long. They're offsides. Couple plays later, you get this strike. A thing of beauty, 34 yards. Gronski to Wilde. Jackrabbits running.
An unprecedented season comes down to this.
Tough decisions have to be made. Let's see where the committee landed.
The College Football Playoff Selection Show, Sunday at noon Eastern on ESPN.
Great to see the FBS figuring out what the FCS did years ago. Not just a playoff, but how about a large format playoff to figure out who the best team in the country is. And for 2 straight years, it's been South Dakota State. However, they are the 3 national seed this year. Montana State, the #1 seed, followed by 2 seed North Dakota State. And once again, staying away from Bergen. That's Harris backing up to his goal line. And you ain't gonna run away from that man. Trey Ridley bringing him down at the 10-yard line. Special teams flexing. Now, how about this offense, Fozzie?
Well, special teams has obviously proven their point, but offensively, the Jackrabbits were able to make this play go. You see Lofton come into motion right here. It sets up an opportunity to get the matchup that they want. Griffin Wilde one-on-one with Gradney, gets on the toes, and then cuts vertically inside on the post route. Gradney is reacting, not able to stay over the top, and then Mark Gronski has the precise placement to be able to get it to him for their 2nd touchdown of the game.
Ayat, 6 of 11, 53 yards. His dad, Brian, was a 2-time All-American at quarterback for the Griz. Flag is down as there was movement. But a delay of game first, so take some bad field position and make it even worse.
Again, I talked about the crowd being a factor. First drive, they were able to handle it. 2nd drive, they get a false start. Now 3rd drive, they have a delay of game to start the drive off with. That's inexcusable for an offense to be able to have a delay of game on their first play of the drive.
Back to the 5 on the side of the field where they take off their shoes occasionally.
Yes.
Remember, we saw that against South Dakota. We don't know what that's about. I've not seen shoes removed quite yet. Gilman wrapped up. Pickup of a half yard. Frenzel with the stop.
Again, mama, there go that man. You will hear his name called a lot of times because of how he flies around the field. He is any and everywhere that you think he's supposed to be and where you think he's not supposed to be. He finds a way to make a play, and right there, coming off of the nickel, being able to read run, one-on-one opportunity brings down the runner. That's what you expect to see from your linebacker.
Play action, a yacht Feeling some pressure, throwing on the run, pass Buck, incomplete to Keelan White for the first down.
It's a great job by Yacht. The play action, able to give him a little bit of time as he rolls out and boots the opposite direction. Sees Adam Bach, gets him moving with his eyes, throws right behind him to his #1 target, Keelan White, and they create some space from being backed up in their own end zone to now trying to put some momentum together on this drive.
Keelan White from North Vancouver, one of the top prospects for the CFL. Season number 6 at Montana for him. Now on the sweep, met with authority. That is a bad dude. Adam Bach making hits like his head coach used to do back in the day.
Yeah, I talked about how cerebral Adam Bach is. Gets off of the block, able to read it, and so much misdirection happening on that play. He's not fooled one bit. He sees the guy running, see ball, get ball. Adam Bach plays over the top, sheds the blocker, and then delivers a devastating blow at the point of contact.
Got 11 tackles against the Griz in Frisco in the championship game last season. Here's pressure, batted down. It's Caleb Francel. How about this for a story? He was discovered coming to a prospect camp here. He wasn't even with the guys that Jimmy Rogers handpicked as prospects. But then his defensive coordinator, Jesse Bobbitt, says, I remember this guy as a high school quarterback in Nebraska that gave us fits. They put him with the prospects. He balled out. Now he's a star.
Well, that's what makes him so smart and puts him in the best position. He knows what the offense is trying to do, and he can counteract that with his athleticism.
3rd and long, a Yacht pressured, slips a tackle. He's gonna have the first down and more. Great job by Gilman, faking out Adam Bach. Did you see that? Gilman is streaking down the sideline the whole way like he's looking for a deep shot, and a Yacht follows in his jet stream.
Yeah, that's a guy that knows exactly what to take. You see pressure in the pocket. Yacht does a great job stepping up, but look at Gilman acting as though he's about to get a pass. Adam Bach keeps going with him. That created an additional about 15 yards for a Yacht to be able to pick up on that big explosive run. Play breaks down, and a Yacht says, let me keep on going behind my guy, and Eli Gilman does a great job running him off.
Gilman ran 30 yards down the field with Adam Bach, pretending like he was looking for the football. Shake and bake, trick play. Xavier Harris to the edge, and is forced out at the 20-yard line. Xavier Harris was the leading rusher for Montana years ago as a freshman. Now in season number 5, more of a gadget player for the Griz.
Well, whenever his number call, he is making the most of it. Whenever you see a lot of pressure looks in the way that South Dakota State likes to bring the pressure and run man-to-man, being able to have misdirection at your disposal can help slow down what the opposing defense is doing, and you see Xavier Harris take full advantage of that.
Now this sprint piece coordinated offense is cooking. A Yacht clean pocket picked off. It's now cooking up for the Jackrabbits. Tucker Large spinning off the tackle, fighting for more with the return to nearly the 30-yard line.
What a dynamic play by Tucker Large. He's reading the middle of the field. As that middle of the field safety guy, he is lurking, baiting a Yacht to be able to throw that post. He comes from the backside, snags it, and then as a punt return specialist himself, he knows what to do with the ball. He makes a couple of guys miss and then picks up some big critical yardage to set up a big turnover and take the momentum back from what Montana Grizzlies were able to create.
So Jimmy Rogers told us Dallas Goedert is probably the biggest reach they ever made in recruiting, hoping that a guy with not much tape would pan out. Second to that is that man, Tucker Large. He was a high school hooper back in the day. Now the Jacks trying to turn it to some points. Amar Johnson trying to turn the corner, and will pick up a few yards on first down. What a turn of events. That was a drive that Montana desperately needed, and it looked like they had figured some things out. But then a Yacht throws it, maybe triple coverage there, and Large comes up with the INT.
Yeah, it was a great job by Tucker Large, really utilizing his ability to bait a yacht to throw into. And remember, a yacht's a younger guy.
Yeah.
He hadn't seen that. Got to manipulate the backside safety a little bit more if you're going to throw that post right in the middle of the field.
This is Brenner in motion. Amar Johnson, left side, and he is stopped by Tyson Rostad. Now, we asked Bobby Houck when it comes to quarterback play. Logan Fife was decent besides the 2 lost fumbles.
Right.
Can you separate turnovers from the way your quarterback plays? He said absolutely not. He doesn't keep stats. He's not a real stat guy, but the one big one he does track is turnovers. It will be interesting to see after that pick, Logan Fife comes out at quarterback next for the Griz. Which just goes to accentuate how important it is to have a winner with experience like Gronski at quarterback. In control, Johnson trying to take it to the open field. One stiff arm, trying to make it 2. Amar Johnson rumbling down to the 30-yard line.
Dynamic play, the offense runs the counter to the right, and you can see these tight ends are so adept of being able to make guys miss and being able to open up the hole for Amar Johnson, who in open field knows what to do with the rock, forces a guy down to the ground, pick up a big explosive play, and that counter play is their bread and butter right down the A-gap. That's what Amar Johnson hit, and you see it work for a big explosive gain for this Jackrabbit offense.
He told Keon Loud, sit down. Johnson stays in there and looking for room, and is brought down by Ryder Meyer, the guy that went along with Amar Johnson for a little bit of a ride at the end of that long run.
Yeah, Ryder Meyer is having a really good season coming into this game. 69 tackles, 3 TFLs, a pick, and you see that tackle there. One of the reasons why he's a leader on this defense, being able to tackle a guy like Amar Johnson, who having himself a big game so far. That's a big matchup to watch. If Amar Johnson gets in open space, these safeties, corners, having to make a play on him one-on-one.
And the Jacks offensively are fine with this, letting Gronski pick his spots. Voorhees lowers his shoulders. He will not get past Gino Leonard. Another linebacker right there from Missoula, hometown of the Griz, from Sentinel High School. Mount Sentinel, the backdrop of Washington Grizzly Stadium. One of the best stadiums in college football, period. You've heard me raving about that place all year. But we've had a lot of fun here in Brookings, South Dakota. This is a great environment for college football. They love it here. Cheering their Jackrabbits on, trying to make it 3 straight. Some movement along the line. And we're going to get a false start on South Dakota State.
False start. Number 76, offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat that down.
That's on the right tackle, transfer from North Dakota, Sam Hagan.
Yeah, couldn't hold his water. Obviously, Gronski was going with the hard count, try to pick up a free first down from Montana if they did jump off sides, which we've seen them do the previous drive twice already. That time it works against South Dakota State and now puts them in a 3rd and long situation with 3rd and 8 with what play call they want to go with.
This crowd knows how to get quiet when it needs to. Pressure in Gronski's face. Overthrows wide open Lofton Gronski.
And there's Montana giving you the look. They brought the pressure, and it even came from depth. Gronski standing in the pocket, almost delivers an accurate strike to Gronski, but ultimately just a little bit too far. And keep your eyes open on this. Even though it's 4th and 8, this is the direction that wind swirls quite a bit. And Hunter Dustman's going to have his work cut out for him on this field goal attempt.
44 yards out. Dustman, the do-it-all. Punter and kicker. Up. Fighting the wind and no good. It hooked left on him. And that's the direction you saw the wind swirling in that end zone.
Yeah, and once that ball gets up in the air, it just takes off. But Montana able to create a stop. Let's see if they can turn it into points offensively.
Cancer can take away all my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul. And those three things are going to carry on forever.
It's V Week at ESPN as we partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. Research that saves lives. You can join the fight against cancer by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research. It's a fight that far too many people have to endure. And for those people in the midst of their battle at this moment, know that we are here for you. And that fight will continue with the help of the V Foundation. Noah Galindo, Fozzie Whitaker, second round of the FCS playoffs from South Dakota State. Jacks were able to get an interception, missed field goal. So Montana dodges a bullet. A yacht stays in the game, will scramble. This is where he was electric in the last drive and takes this to the 28-yard line. So minimal pickup on first down. How does he need to collect himself after that INT?
Well, utilizing his legs, especially whenever the play breaks down or nothing is downfield, can help keep them on schedule. But now necessarily having a short-term memory is something that he has to be familiar with, right? The interception on the last drive, no harm, no foul. Defense got you the ball back. Now go make the most of it on this drive.
This is Rocker getting the carry. And Dayton McGoy making the stop.
And this defense is playing physical football right now. Lead blockers are getting thrown out of the club. McGoy comes in from backside safety, being able to make a tackle and minimizes what would have been a big explosive gain for Rocker. It gets shut down and they pick up 1 yard, and now you're looking at 3rd and long on what you want to do whenever this defense is coming after you.
Griz 1 for 5 on 3rd down. A yacht underneath, ball is tipped, and it was nearly picked off by Dallas Beanham. And it would not have been a shock if Beanham picked it off. He's got 12 career picks. 7 of them are in the postseason.
Yeah, it's the second time he's got his hand on a ball in this game already, and no harm, no foul by Yacht, but it was close enough. If he would have got his hands on that completely, that would have been 6 the other way. But he got an opportunity to get his hands on the ball now and see if he can do the same thing from the punt return position.
And he can be dangerous back there as well. Ty Morrison will punt. Beanham with a chance, back to the 20, trying to dance out of the pressure, slung down at the 24-yard line. So another 3 and out by Montana. South Dakota State with the football back. They're going to try to chew away as much as that 3:40 left on the clock as possible. It is the second round of the FCS championship. We're looking at the right side of the bracket. That's where you're going to find the 3 seeds, South Dakota State and Montana, the 14th seed. Teams that met in the championship game in Frisco last season. Winner of this moves on to face the winner of Incarnate Word and Villanova. Surprisingly, those offenses, no score there in the second quarter. 3:40 left in the first half for Mark Gronski to try to add to this 14-3 lead. Angel Johnson corralled by almost the entire Griz defense. Henry Noose was there first. The first time they met, Noose got that football free. Montana recovered and was able to turn that into a field goal, the lone points of the game, giving Montana that early 3-0 lead.
Yeah, they're going to have to continue to rely on that. As you see, Montana playing great run defense on that first play, and South Dakota State's looking to burn some time, try to get points before halftime comes up.
Back to the ground, Angel Johnson. And once again, Griz flexing, Noose, back-to-back stops.
It's a defense that seems to be settling in to the game plan and finding ways to stop the run. Now you get 2 straight drives or 2 straight plays where they're stopping it, putting South Dakota State in this 3rd and long situation, with time being the essence of the moment right now with the 2-minute timeout coming up. A big stop can bode well for this defense to try to get a yacht the ball back with some clock and timeouts left to put points on the board.
This has been problematic. 4 or 5 on 3rd down is South Dakota State. How about more? Angel Johnson steaming into the Montana secondary and down at the 30-yard line. You cannot get these dudes off the field on 3rd down, and yeah, kids, you're right. Angel Johnson is eating.
2-minute timeout.
And you can see Gus Miller, the center, number 50, takes on a block, opens up a massive hole that anybody could have ran through, and that's exactly what South Dakota State's trying to do, is run through, put up more points here right before halftime.
Third down, the backbreaker for the Montana defense as Angel Johnson just rumbled for 44 yards on 3rd and 6. It's now 3 plays of at least 34 yards for South Dakota State on 3rd down.
Yeah, it's been absolutely backbreaker. Coming into this game, Montana had been 36% on defense in 3rd down conversions, but South Dakota State, they converted 50%. Doing well today.
So after the 2-minute timeout, it's Angel Johnson trying to get a block from his tight end. He does, and that's going to be a 1st down pickup as David Alpers set that one up on the edge.
Yeah, David Alpers set it up, but Angel Johnson does the rest. Makes 1 guy miss, makes 2 guys miss, picks up a 1st down, and then the best thing about it was he stayed in bounds to be able to keep that clock rolling, chew up some more time, as they look to try to put points on the board with this minimal amount of time to give the ball back to Montana.
Gronski throwing to Wilde. Wilde bottled up by Jackson Lee. That will go down for a loss, and timeout Montana.
Timeout, Montana. First charged of the
best
first
case
half.
scenario
This is
right
the
here,
32nd
outside
timeout.
of a takeaway, is Bobby Houck and the Montana Grizzlies defense set up a long field goal attempt for South Dakota State. Just saw them miss one, and this is that tricky south end of the stadium that's been problematic.
Yeah, the 2nd time that Jackson Lee has been one-on-one opportunity in open field, being able to secure a great tackle.
And if you saw the healthy pat on the backside there, that is his nephew, by the way. That is Ryan Terrell, the nephew of Bobby Houck. So there's been many coaching moments like that in the past for Ryan and his uncle, playing for both his uncles, Bobby and Tim. And that is a young man from Missoula that is living his dream, starring for the Montana defense. Mark Johnson with a carry, and shooting through to make the stop is Terrell. That's what happens when you listen to Uncle Bobby.
Listen to Unc, he gets you taken care of right there. Ryan Terrell does a great job. Reads run. Nobody scrapes over the top. I don't know why you don't block a guy like that. He's so dynamic and explosive. Well, if you're not going to block me, Ryan Terrell says, I will make the play. That's 2 back-to-back negative plays forced on this offense. And like you mentioned, calling a timeout, setting up a long field goal attempt, which is not a gimme, is exactly what Coach Houck's trying to do.
We got kids, and when you got kids, you always want to know how they stack up to everybody else,
Yes.
right? So Ryan's mom, Katie, sister of Bobby and Tim, they tell a story where Ryan's shooting hoops with Tim, his uncle, and Katie's questioning, is he going to be athletic enough to play college football? He's 6 years old. And Tim just says, your son's a beast. He's going to be okay. And in that moment, Tim Houck knew that he would follow in his footsteps and become a stud for this Grizzlies defense, as Tim is one of the greatest all-time players in Montana history. Here's a 3rd and 18 for Gronski. Looking to Wilde. Wilde stretching. Did he get the pylon in enough? Yes! Griffin Wilde finds the end zone for the second time today.
Backbreaker again. Third downs is where this team has excelled. One-on-one opportunity. Griffin Wilde, great job running the deep out route. Gets the ball across the pylon. And again, that's on Trevin Gradney, given too much space. I got to give credit to Griffin Wilde being able to create that separation. His foot is inbound. That ball looks to have crossed. It'll go under review, but I believe this call will stand. And look at the amount of space that Griffin Wilde has. He catches the ball. There's nobody in sight for at least 5 yards. And then Gradney does the best as he can to be able to force him out of bounds. But the damage is done. First down, and then Griffin Wilde extends that ball across the pylon to set up another touchdown. And what a back-breaking play again on third down for the Jackrabbits offense in this Montana defense.
So 3 plays of 34 yards allowed on third down, and that a 24-yard touchdown on third down.
We'll take another look here. Foot's in bounds, it appears from this angle. The ball appears to also have crossed the goal line.
Video review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Fonzie, I'm not sure there's a receiver in the game that means more to their team than Griffin Wilde. South Dakota State, we mentioned it, they lost their top 3 receivers from last year. Wilde coming into this game has 30 more catches and 550 more receiving yards than the second leading receiver on the team.
I think Mark Gronski would actually echo the sentiments that you have there as being probably the most important receiver to this offense, and the reason why this offense works and why he gets so many targets and catches, because he's that dynamic.
He is a burner. He's got some speed. The staff was raving as this extra point is up and slips in on how he turned some short plays like bubble screens, touchdowns in the most recent game for South Dakota State. And like, that never happens, turning a bubble into a touchdown.
Yeah, you're typically not supposed to turn a bubble screen into a touchdown. That's more of a play that you utilize to complement your run game, maybe picking up 5-6 yards on the edge to be able to set up your second down or your third down play. Well, guess what? Griffin Wilde has that dynamic back-breaking potential. Again, one-on-one here with Gradney. Gradney given too much space. Griffin Wilde breaks it off, creates that separation, and once he catches the ball, he knows exactly what to do with it, turns it up, keeps that foot in bounds, extends the ball past the pylon. That's a huge, huge third down pickup and a touchdown for South Dakota State going right into the halftime.
Wilde showing how they roll down in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Yeah, boy.
What do you know about Falls Park?
I was out there last night, had the camera rolling, out in Christmas Wonderland. What a beautiful feeling it was. Same way, Griffin Wilde scoring a touchdown.
And this is going to sell into the end zone, and a touchback for the first time today, setting up Montana at the 25-yard line. They have 57 seconds left, 1 timeout. We'll see how much Coach Houck and Coach Pease want to push the envelope here.
Yeah, I think with 1 timeout, this first down play will tell you everything you need to know about how aggressive they want to be. If you're able to pick up a chunk play or create some momentum and then get out of bounds, then you can press the issue. But at the moment, you got to play it safe and not force a turnover with a young quarterback at the helm.
Cannot have that turnover. Almost had one on the last drive that Dallas beat them. A yacht hit, down, sacked by the Jackrabbits swarming defense. Dawson Ripperda and Bryce Hawthorne combined for that sack.
Timeout. South Dakota State.
And now South Dakota State says take that, the Uno reverse card, and they call the timeout.
Yeah, you see a yacht standing in the pocket. They run a TT game where you see Ripperda, and then you also see Bryce Hawthorne being able to switch positions. That sets up the down block for 3 guys to be on 1 guy blocking, and then Ripperda comes around as the benefactor of that twist and that stunt by that defensive line. And that's what I was talking about, is being able to play it safely. Now you're giving some life for South Dakota State to get a stop and try to put up another touchdown or or field goal attempt.
And those are two players that got next for this Jets
Absolutely.
defense. Ripperda, sophomore, Hawthorne, redshirt freshman. And now 2nd and 18, and backed up for Keali'i Ayat, redshirt freshman out of Hawaii. Got the start over Logan Fife. It's going to be Gilman. We have not seen a lot of Gilman because he's been bottled up. Dave McGoy makes a stop, and there is a flag down.
There's going to be a hold as well on Montana on this drive, and everything that can be going wrong seems to be going wrong for the Montana Grizzly on offense.
And South Dakota State's ability to take Eli Gilman out of the game is pronounced. They held him to 18 yards with a long of 5 on 7 carries in the championship game last season.
We'll see.
Holding, number 79, offense. Penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, 2nd down.
And that is a tough penalty. Back it up.
I think coach wants to decline that so that they have a chance to get the ball back. I think Jimmy Rogers wants to decline to put it into 3rd down.
Set up a 3rd down.
Rather than taking it to 2nd and longer with an opportunity to waste more clock after the last timeout has been called by the Jackrabbits.
So Gilman so far 5 carries, 5 yards in this game. It's been a
Correction on the
non-factor.
field. South Dakota State has elected to decline the holding penalty. That will bring up 3rd down. South Dakota State has taken their final charge timeout of the first half. 30-second timeout.
You know, that's a man that has some war wounds, has some scars from knowing that no lead is safe. We mentioned that monumental comeback by Montana in 2009. No lead is good enough for Jimmy Rogers and the South Dakota State team in the playoffs.
Yeah, obviously that was on display even last year in the national championship game between these two teams. But obviously him having lived it in 2009 and knowing what the sting was, that was his last game that he ever played for South Dakota State. So if you think that doesn't stick with him, then better believe, have a different thought, because he knows exactly what it feels like to lose a lead in that magnitude.
So after the declined holding call, it's 3rd and 18, playing it safe with Gilman. Gilman bottled up by Big Blue. There's that South Dakota State defense yet again. Franzel, one of the many Jackrabbits in on the stop. Cody Claiborne as well. Big 94, the guy that rotates between end and tackle. That's a rarity for Jimmy Rogers.
Absolutely, one of the few guys that can do it and do it very well at this level and on this team, and his impact is immensely felt for this team, and that's probably going to take us into halftime. But South Dakota State has made a statement, and Eli Gilman's impact in this game has been not there, because these guys have been so dynamic on the defensive side of the ball.
Surprised after all of that, no timeout was called?
They were out of timeouts. That was the 3rd timeout that they called.
Okay.
The bug on the scoreboard here in the stadium was wrong. Coach had called that 3rd timeout to get it into 3rd down.
That's going to take us to the half, where the 2-time defending champs, South Dakota State, looking large and in charge. They had that early fumble. Were able to bow up, hold Montana to a field goal. And after that, it was time to pour it on. Gronski has been spectacular, 8 of 9, 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. And who are those 2 touchdowns to?
Griffin Wilde. Whenever you're setting up your guy is setting it up right back to you, willing this team to a 21-3 halftime in South Dakota.
Flex on up.
An ode to the O-line, the men in the trenches, gallant, lion-hearted, nurturing, Renaissance men, the real skill position guys. Who needs a sleek number 88 anyway? Wherefore art thou number 68? Strong as an ox, slim as a keg. To err is human, Mr. Line Judge. The defense doth protest too much. Pass rushers diverge and take the road less traveled when it comes to these earth movers. Tread softly round Kelvin Banks at Texas, impenetrable as an armored truck. Cam Ward may bask in the spotlight in Miami, But whenceforth does his protector Jalen Rivers get shine? Do not go gentle into that good night against Wyatt Milam at West Virginia. And no more shall the contributions of Will Campbell be overlooked. A pancake man focused on saving the bacon in Baton Rouge. A Johnny Cornelius, a majestic peak rising high above Eugene. Methinks I shall never see an elite mauler like Minnesota's Ariante Ursery. And lest we forget the many dashing centers who snap the ball to the big uglies at quarterback, from Parker Brailsford at Alabama to Cooper Mays at Tennessee. Oh, Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bulldozers who dominate and devastate, and know when they know, and know when you know, and know when they know that you know they have taken your will.
Welcome back to Brookings, South Dakota. Loa Galindo here with Fozzie Whitaker. We've got a rematch of last year's FCS championship game, and like that game in Frisco, it's a lot of the Jackrabbits and not quite enough of the Griz. South Dakota State, the 3 seed nationally, up on Montana 21-3, which takes us to the bracket as we have worked our way from 24 teams down to 16. We're looking at the right side of the bracket here, and there's a lot of interesting games going on. Not just the low-scoring game between Incarnate Word and Villanova, who will take on the winner of our game with South Dakota State, Montana, but the top of the screen there, the number 2 national seed, North Dakota State, trailing ACU 14-3. That is the most shocking score on this screen.
Yeah, it's a big surprise. Obviously, North Dakota State, we saw that team play against South Dakota State just a week prior to the game that we did against South Dakota, and we know how competitive those two teams are. Number 2 national seed, a lot is on the line. Abilene Christian, knowing what's at stake, they're playing very well right now. We'll see if North Dakota State has an answer for what ACU is doing. Some issues also down the road in Vermillion, South Dakota, with the South Dakota Coyotes. They now have gotten on the board. For a while there, it was a 7-0 lead with Tarleton State on top of the Coyotes. Yeah, and that was a team that we saw. Kayvon Britton is having a spectacular year, but so is South Dakota. They've responded, tied it up, and we'll see how that game goes down to the wire as they're nearing the end of the first quarter. Once again, national championship game in Frisco, Texas. That's where we will crown a champ as South Dakota State tries to join North Dakota State and App State as the only programs to ever win 3 straight titles on the FCS level. A dominant first half in the rematch of last year's championship game. South Dakota State, the 3 seed nationally, up on Montana 21-3. Welcome back to Brookings, South Dakota. It is so warm here in the high 40s now. We were taking off our jackets during the first half of this game. And the team, though, that is red hot are the Jackrabbits, right? They had that early fumble, but the defense was able to recover, held Montana to a field goal. Those are the only points that the Griz have been able to put on the board. This game is being dominated by the Jackrabbits. Yeah, ultimately, it's come down to 3rd down conversions. Right now, Montana sits at 1-6. That's not going to cut it against this vaunted defense of the Jackrabbits. On the opposite side, defense for the Jackrabbits has been spectacular, and this is what makes them so special. They have been able to locate the ball in the air, find a way to get it down on the ground. Eli Gilman coming in with over 1,000 yards rushing on the season hasn't been that big of a factor, and then they've been able to create the turnovers and created sacks and TFLs in the backfield. On the offensive side of the ball, 6 of 7 for this offense on 3rd downs, and Gronski has been at the forefront of the success that they've been able to experience, whether it's throwing the ball, catching the ball, running the rock. He's been pivotal in their success, and on 3rd downs, like I mentioned, 6 of 7, that's where they have been lethal. 153 yards gained on 3rd down alone just for this Jackrabbit offense.
And a 21-yard catch to go along with it for Mark Gronski with that throwback from Kevin Brenner that resulted in a Gronski touchdown plunge. So you see the numbers lopsided like those lopped years of the Jackrabbits. 264 total yards to 122. And the third downs, you mentioned it. 6 of 7 for South Dakota State. Remarkable to have 3 gains of at least 34 yards on third down, and then that last touchdown of the first half to Wilde, that was also on third down.
Yeah, been absolute back-breaking opportunities for Montana in this second half. If they want to respond and have a chance to win this game, they'll have to be better defensively on third downs and continue to move the ball and sustain drives on the offensive side of the ball.
And this is how South Dakota State wants to go into a second half of a game. In firm control, they can churn and burn with Angel and Amar Johnson and let Gronski just play ball control offense, a little keep away, and try to get out of here with the win and move on to the quarterfinals. South Dakota State will start with the football at the 25-yard line. After that touchback, Gronski 8 of 9, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a winner, Fozzie. We told you about his record in the postseason, 11-1 as a starter on his way to becoming 12-1.
Yeah, they've done everything you could ask for in the first half, and being able to have a lead in the way that they do, 18 points. We already know Coach Rogers believes no lead is safe. Being part of that 2009 Jackrabbit team, expect them to continue to pour it on and then maybe start toting the clock, chewing up some clock a little bit later in the game.
Amar Johnson, leading rusher, 9 carries, 67 yards. Gronski looking on the run and finds Brenner. So the opposite of that connection worked in the first half, and that's how you start off a successful drive with a 7-yard pickup.
And I thought he had maybe an opportunity to be able to hit the deep corner route behind Brenner. Think just a little bit too far off of rhythm, being able to try to complete a pass that far downfield. Go with your safe option. Brenner picks up 7 yards on first down. Excuse me, 8 yards.
Heavy to the left side of the formation.
Unbalanced look again.
And Amar Johnson will run that direction back towards the middle, and it's Henry Noose making the stop. Noose is the man that had the forced fumble against Angel Johnson on one of the opening drives for South Dakota State, only resulted in a field goal for the Griz.
Yeah, and having his success is going to be critical to what Montana needs to do. Stopping the run has to be the main impetus, because that's what sets up everything else for this Jackrabbit offense.
Been a quiet first half for Hayden Harris, leader in sacks and TFLs for this Montana defense. Amar Johnson's patient, pedaling the feet, and then when it's time to go, he can go.
That's what makes them so dangerous, right? Just a small handoff there. It seems as though the play is bottled up, and then Amar Johnson does such a great job using his patience and has a great feel with his offensive line. He's able to kind of duck and dodge behind and then get an opportunity to pick up 5 yards whenever you think there's only 2 yards available. And you can see the tempo that he has with that offensive line, and then just pop goes the weasel. He finds his hole and shoots right through it. 5-yard gain.
Running behind that first team all-conference center, Gus Miller, seems like has been here forever. Gronski in rhythm. Amar Johnson first down and more. So the Jackrabbits tailback getting out of the backfield and picking up his first catch of the afternoon.
And just when you think this offense is going to continue to run the ball, they surprise you, drop back. You get Amar Johnson on that angle route, or that Texas route as it's most commonly referred to, fake to the flat, then shoot right in the middle, open the field, or the middle of the field is wide open. He takes it there, 16-yard gain, big pickup on first down.
Wilde, the man in motion, 100 yards receiving in the first half for the burner, number 18, and we got all sorts of movement.
It's going to be offsides again on this Montana defense.
Was that 3, 4?
That's the third one.
Offside, number 99, defense with contact.
And David Alpers. It's just a friendly reminder to Montana which direction this football is moving. South Dakota State has done such an excellent job of just almost lulling you to sleep and then hit the explosive play.
That's where Griffin Wilde has been very explosive in that category. You're thinking he's not a part of the offense, and then all of a sudden he hits you over the head.
Screen to Wilde, makes one man miss, trying to cut it up, and cannot get away from Ryan Terrell. That's going to be just shy of the first down marker.
It's almost right on cue whenever we talked about being lulled to sleep, and then Griffin Wilde gets the ball and makes a guy miss, and it could have been trouble if Terrell wasn't there. Ryan does a great job being able to run to the ball, sets up a minimal gain. Now you're looking at 2nd and 1, which could have been a lot worse if Terrell wasn't there.
Catch number 7 for the man. We're just underway here in the 3rd quarter. Got Brenner with the up back for Voorhees. Brenner sets the block. Voorhees does the rest. Voorhees playing in his first game without a knee brace since coming back from a knee issue earlier this season. What is that like when you shed the knee brace for the first time after an injury?
Well, number one, the confidence level. You start feeling extremely confident until you are able to kind of get that first hit without the knee brace. Then you start to play a little bit more loose, and we're starting to see that unfold in Kirby Voorhees' game. Speaking from experience, right, getting that knee brace off of you just allows you to play that much faster.
He's a powerful back, but he's got some juice as well. Gronski to throw, looking for Wilde, trying to high point it, and broken up by Gradney with a one-on-one.
And what a play by Gradney there. We've talked about him being on the opposite end of a couple touchdown passes by Griffin Wilde. Well, this time Gradney says, I went into halftime, I got myself ready to go. I'm ready for whatever you throw at my way, and one-on-one opportunity plays right through the hands of Griffin Wilde, knocks that ball out. No chance for Griffin Wilde to come down with a touchdown, and that's how you play cornerback for this Montana Grizzly defense.
He's done it for a while at a high level. 2nd team All Big Sky, 3rd time making the All-Conference team. Another flag.
Ball start, number 64, offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That goes against the left guard out of Saskatchewan, Ethan Vibert. It was great. See out the top of the show, Coach Diggs, John Stiglmeyer with the sign, taking a direct shot at Montana.
Do you think he made that sign?
He couldn't have made it.
I don't know. He can do a lot of things.
He's a talented man. He built this program from the ground up. I don't know if making signs is his thing. Gronski flush screen. That's going to hit his offensive lineman, Sam Hagan.
Yeah, and they call a screen, get an opportunity to get that defensive line rushing upfield. Kirby Voorhees has to come back and kind of bow a little bit towards Mark Gronski on that play so that what happened does not unfold. If he gets in front of that offensive lineman, he's able to catch the rock and then use the offensive lineman as that lead blocker moving upfield.
Hey, it's 3rd and 15. If you're Montana, this is typically where you want a team to be.
Yes.
This has been the problematic territory because picking up 15 is nothing on this day on 3rd down.
Where is number 18 on the field?
He's in the slot, right side of the formation, comes to the flat, and Gronski goes down. There he is. We said Hayden Harris was quiet in the first half, busted out here in the second half, and that is sack number 10 on the season for Hayden Harris.
Yeah, you see one-on-one right here. Sam Hagan just doesn't have an opportunity, and nobody seems to stick on him. I'm not quite sure if there was miscommunication on the protection there, but if you're not going to block the most dangerous guy on the line of scrimmage, he will make you pay. Coming into this game, 8.5 sacks. Now you add in that full sack there and pushes you back out of field goal range. You got to force a punt, and we know what happens whenever you punt into a dangerous guy like Junior Bergen.
Bergen only got one shot with a punt return in the national championship game. Will he get a shot here? It is going to be shy of the end zone. Bergen does call for the fair catch. What a job by the coverage team as Colton Tilford is in to down this one inside the 5-yard line. You know who's going to smile because of that? That man. Coach Diggs holding up the sign pregame. Maybe he made it, Fozzie.
Think so. The creativity is there.
Crafts time before
Coach
this
Diggs.
FCS second round game. As a kid, is there anything better than this? It's wintertime. You're at a football game. It's your team, and your team is one of the favorites to win it all again.
And it's also not frozen. Like, these kids have an opportunity to enjoy the game without freezing their hands off.
It was 8 degrees last week in Brookings, South Dakota. We're in the high 40s here today. Montana backed up, starting this drive inside the 5-yard line. Gilman with the carry, tries to shift back, and he's wrapped up and dropped by Kobe Claiborne.
It's a great job getting out of your own end zones, and the shadows of the end zone are right there, and any play could be dangerous. Get some good positive yardage. Eli Gilman sees the hole, cuts upfield, and Kobe Claiborne does a great job of bringing him down, but that's how you do it offensively, is handling the elements and the noise being backed up.
A yacht under center. The pitch to Gilman. Has a block right side. There was a hole there, but it closed quickly. South Dakota State rallying to the football. Defense built around eliminating explosive plays. Their assignments sound, and they swarmed to the football. We saw it right there. 3rd and 6.
Is it a flock of jackrabbits? What do you call a group of jackrabbits?
A group of jackrabbits.
Well, they're vicious, whatever they are.
Oh,
they're on display there.
Jackrabbits are vicious.
Flock of jackrabbits.
I think that's seagulls.
Not bad.
3rd and 6. A yacht with time. Hit as he throws. Great hands, and the catch is made by Keelan White. 1st down, Griz.
That is a great job by a yacht. Young quarterback, seeing the pressure in his face. Adam Bach, free reign. He stands in there, delivers an absolute strike to Keelan White. Keelan White with the man-to-man coverage makes the contested catch as well. 1st down, ball on the 15-yard line. Now you got some breathing room offensively.
Got away from that husk of jackrabbits there. Gilman, drop for a loss. Bryce Hawthorne makes him pay with the TFL. This is what the Jackrabbits want you to do. They're making you drive. They're okay if it takes you 3 plays to move the chains, because they know they're going to get more of that than you get yardage.
It also seems so much harder for Montana to be able to move the ball. On 3rd down, like we just witnessed, it took a quarterback having to stand into the pocket, get hit in the face, and then having to deliver an almost perfect throw with the contested catch for it to be converted.
More pressure. A yacht gets away from it. Incomplete, looking for Eli Gilman. And that was Bach once again in his face. A finalist for the Buck Buchanan last season as one of the top defenders in the FCS. Showing why.
Yeah, and this Montana team is trying to run a screen, but it is broken up because Dawson Ripperter does a great job of recognizing screen, stays on Eli Gilman, and then makes sure that that screen is not completed. And now you're right where this Jackrabbit swarm wants you to be in 3rd and long.
It's not a swarm. 3rd and 11. A yacht running for his life. He'll try to turn it upfield to the 20, but that is well short of the line to gain, and that is a hold on 3rd down for South Dakota State. It's now 2 of 10 on 3rd down for the Griz offense.
Adam Bach had to show great restraint there as a yacht was going to the sideline. I almost thought he was going to hit him a little bit late, which would have given them a 1st down. Holds up a yacht, and then ultimately that forces that 3rd down conversion to not go the way that Montana had planned.
Morrison to punt, has time. Here's Dallas Beanham. Fair catch called for inside the 30-yard line. But this is, we're wrestling down at the 35, by the way, and it's still going on. Cooler heads hopefully prevail. All South Dakota State 21-3. Oh, here's South Dakota State. They do 2 things better than anybody. Win national championships and make ice cream. This is the dairy bar here on campus. This is where cookies and cream originated. And we got the opportunity to try it out. Our friend Miss Christie hooked us up. It's now been 2 times here at Brookings we've had the ice cream. It's phenomenal. I can't say it enough. It's phenomenal.
Give me more.
You're asking for seconds already. I love it. Angel Johnson dancing in the backfield to the 37-yard line. Before you asked for game notes for this game, you asked for ice cream.
I think
not true.
The most important thing always needs to be addressed. And for this offense, the most important thing is making sure they stay on schedule.
Yeah.
They run that counter play. Angel Johnson does a great job setting it up. He fakes like he's going outside, comes back inside, hits the A gap, and again, it's a big explosive gain for 9 on first down.
Back to Angel Johnson. Gus Miller got pushed back. It does not matter. How about a spin, and a little shuffle through for the first down. That play had disaster written all over. It does not matter for Angel Johnson.
Yeah, Angel Johnson is so smooth, like you use a spoon to scoop some of this creamy ice cream from, and you see all those linemen, it's like hats on a parade. They're all able to get it going in one direction, and then Angel Johnson makes a couple guys miss and shows you why this rushing attack is so dynamic, averaging 244 yards rushing per game coming into this game against Montana.
You know what the Jackrabbits want to do. Question is, can you take that away from him? Gronski with the fake, backside pressure, he's hit and throws it away. He's looking downfield to a Gronski. Keon Loud was there with the hit, and Loud is slow to get up. That's what happens when you hit 6'3", 230 pounds. Gronski is a tank back there at quarterback.
Absolutely, he's a big guy, and he just understands ball. Right, as a guy, you see your first option is not there. Trying to take a shot on the double move play where you're faking it to the running back on a screen and then looking downfield. It's not there. Throw the ball away. Don't make a bad play worse. And Gronski shows you why he's one of the best players to ever do it at South Dakota State.
11-15. Here's Amar Johnson running through the gap on the right side. Popped. That's Gino Leonard with the hit. Got him up top while it was wrapped up. And a violent hit. Rashawn Gordon also in on it. He was a low man. So 3rd and 5. South Dakota State has dominated. And the time is coming off that clock very quick now. Gronski double pumps to the tight end, and it's a first down connection to David Alpers, the future of this tight end position.
Here's a great job by Mark Gronski again, finding and buying time. He sees the screen is interrupted by Big Hayden in the middle, so he waits for David Alpers to be able to get open and finding that window to deliver it to him. And then he has lead blockers upfield. They pick up yet again another 3rd down for their 7th conversion of the day.
Alpers and Stoffel are a handful at the tight end spot. You throw in Brenner, and that is a mean 3-headed monster. Delay there to Johnson, and Johnson rips through one tackle and takes it to the 36-yard line. I mean, Montana had a good shot at that. Johnson just kept going.
Yeah, I think Leonard's trying to figure out a way to stop Amar Johnson. We saw Leonard get his lick first on Johnson. Well, Johnson says, well, let me get my lick back. He forces a missed tackle again, and that's been an issue today as Montana's just not able to get the guy down on the first try. And now you pick up 7, and you're in 2nd and short.
Johnson, the senior, left side, 7 is best for last. That's a first down pickup on a 2nd and 3. Noose forces him out. Johnson is a senior. He's had to wait his turn. He's getting better as this year goes on.
Yeah, and what makes him so special, again, we've talked about his patience over and over and over, but that's something that we don't see from a lot of running backs in today's time, right? A lot of running backs, they see open space and they think they have to go hit it right now before setting up their blockers ahead of time. Well, Amar Johnson does a great job of having that feel, setting up the blocks, and then utilizing his speed to get open.
And that's going to be Montana jumping. Flag is out. Free play Gronski trying to take advantage of it. How did he not go down immediately with Ryan Terrell lassoing him? Well, this is going to be against Montana. Offsides for the fourth time.
Number 48, defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's against Hayden Harris.
Although you don't want your quarterback taking shots, this is the understanding that Mark Gronski has. Whenever you got a free play, hey, I'm not just going to check it down and pick up 3-4 yards.
Yeah.
We're already going to accept that penalty anyway. Let me try to get some points out of it. He tries to direct traffic and get downfield. It didn't work out from that perspective, but that's the understanding and the knowledge of the game that Mark Gronski possesses.
Such a treat to watch him play. Trying to win 3 straight titles. Brenner gives him a block. Angel Johnson to the 10-yard line. South Dakota State is flexing the muscle. They want this to be a wrestling match on the gridiron, and they are succeeding with that style of play.
And you can see the jet sweep action with Brenner lead blocking. They're reading that backside end. If the backside end goes with the flow of the line, then they're going to hand it, and Brenner does a great job in space, making sure he stays on top of Ryder Meyer, and that opens up a big hole for Angel Johnson to take advantage of and push it inside the 10-yard line.
Coach has told us Brenner loves contact. Former defensive end, now tight end. Stud for these Jackrabbits. Inside the 10, Angel Johnson, so patient as he is stopped by Noah Cashmiller. Going back to Mark Gronski, I don't know how often we will see this in college football anymore. In the NIL era, where players on the FCS level that have a national championship pedigree are going to get a payday to leave smaller programs, how often will we see a guy that turns down the money to come back for the program that discovered him and developed him like a Mark Gronski?
Yeah, you won't see that often, but loyalty obviously plays a major factor in what Mark Gronski is, and he loves ball, and that's what Jimmy Rogers loves to see in guys he brings into this program.
And he's great at it. Angel Johnson shifting through inside the 5. And South Dakota State will try to turn this into a scrum, and the fans appreciate that kind of physicality.
Absolutely, and everybody got on their feet expecting there to be that big push. Montana does a great job of actually stuffing Angel Johnson's momentum and then keeping it where it was.
Jimmy Rogers content to take this one down and set up a 3rd and goal to begin the 4th quarter. South Dakota State 1 quarter away from moving on to the quarterfinals and their quest to make it 3 straight championships on the FCS level. 4th quarter coming up, as it is all Jackrabbits dominating against Montana. It's the 10th all-time meeting between Montana and South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits have won once against the Griz, but it led to that number you see on the right side of your screen, the national championship game to wrap up the 2023 season, and they are en route to making it 2 straight wins against Montana. Diamond formation inside the 5-yard line for Gronski and company on 3rd and goal. Lamar Johnson breaks through 1 tackle, flexes on Montana, pile drives his way forward, waiting for the mark. South Dakota State thinks they've got 6, but it's going to be just shy of the goal line. This is a definite 4th down go-to situation.
Expect them to go quick, quarterback sneak.
Gronski plunging forward, and for the 2nd time today, Mark Gronski has a short touchdown run. Hug the one you love, because it's all South Dakota State. Now 27-3. Gronski has thrown for 2 and now has rushed for 2 for the Jacks.
But we talked about how important his impact is coming into the game, having been responsible for 120 total touchdowns in his career. Unbelievable, able to add on to that number with his 4th touchdown responsible for And just the leverage that Gus Miller is able to create from the center position, and then driving the legs of Mark Gronski, that 6'3", 230-pound frame, it gets them on the board for their 4th touchdown.
And that's their DNA, their mentality. We noted, talking to each other in break, after that early 21-yard run from Gronski, that it was spotted shy of the end zone. It really looked like if they would have reviewed that play, it would have been a touchdown. But there was so much confidence for this offense. They just lined up and ran the next play anyways because they knew they were finding the pay dirt.
Absolutely, and it doesn't matter if it's 1st down, 2nd down, 3rd down, or like we just noticed, 4th down. If it's down between that 1-yard line or inches from the goal line, Coach Rogers believes in this team. Coach Rogers obviously believes in Mark Gronski, and everybody is able to flow and play much better whenever Mark Gronski is on his game in the way that he is today.
And I know North Dakota State has a head-to-head. I know Montana State has had an unbelievable season. They're the top 2 seeds. But why you have to consider South Dakota State to be the favorite in this whole thing is because that guy wearing number 11, Jimmy Rogers, has what those other programs don't have.
Absolutely.
And it's that experienced, proven winner at the quarterback spot. That's the difference. 28-3. South Dakota State with the lead, their first playoff game after a bye. Xavier Harris from his own end zone, bringing it out and getting rocked at the 25-yard line. Joe Ullman with a thunderous tackle. And Harris is still feeling it. My goodness.
Yeah, that was a huge hit there. And Montana's obviously trying to create some momentum, kicking it away from Junior Bergen. I'm still a little confused as to why not call the fair catch, get the ball on the 25. I understand they're on the 26-yard line after that return, but at what cost with Xavier Harris going off of the field, limping? And that's not the first time that they've been tackled that close inside the 25.
Ayat got the starting quarterback over Logan Fife, and that is the first catch in the career of young LeKeldrick Bridges. Nearly had a huge catch last week against Tennessee State. A review overturned it, ruled that a drop. He has upside and has been huge with no Aaron Fonts, the proven downfield threat, still out for this Griz offense.
Yeah, absolutely. That catch would have been dynamic for that team, and he has really good speed. If he's able to put that on display, lost the helmet, got to go off the field for this play. We'll see what Montana does.
Low snap. And it's Finotti with the carry. And that will move the sticks. I did love that gesture, though, from Coach Houck. It's a game where you're getting beat 28-3, but acknowledging that your young budding star in LeKeldrick Bridges just made his first career grab. Give him a little love right there.
Yeah.
It's building for the future, and Houck is in this for the long haul for this program.
Absolutely. Picking up a first down, too. That's what that catch does. Helps keep that offense on schedule.
A yacht slings it to the middle. Gonna be picked off. Bach has it to the 30. Still up. Keep your balance. Bach to the end zone. You're looking at a guy that has made play after play after play in his South Dakota State career. This is one he's going to remember for a long time, the pick six.
And Matthew Durant does a great job there, being able to prop it up. And then Adam Bach does the rest, staying on his feet, looking like a young running back on the opposite side of the ball. And then outruns all the linemen and then celebrate with your teammates. And Jimmy Rogers getting in the mix there, knowing how big of a pick six that was for Adam Bach in this South Dakota State.
And you know Jimmy Rogers loves that. When you think of his lineage, he was a team captain at linebacker in the first ever South Dakota State team that went to the FCS playoffs. Then became a linebacker coach. Then was the defensive coordinator, now the head coach. But that linebacker spot is still his baby. And this is the head of all the Jackrabbits, Adam Bach. Amazing balance to find the end zone, not to be denied. Adam Bach with the pick six when things couldn't get worse for the Griz. Somehow they did. This trio of linebackers for Jimmy Rogers, awesome. NCAA FCS championship coverage continues next weekend with quarterfinal coverage against ESPN Networks. For more information, visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. I know him. Santa in the house. Hey, he's got some good dab stylings.
Yeah.
I think you and me, above anything, are known for cultivating, creating the dab train.
Yep.
Santa would be a welcome addition to that.
Junior Bergen.
For the first time. And Bergen running into a wall. But this will be decent field position for Montana, considering they spent most of this game backed up. And there's Santa Claus.
Jolly old St. Nick.
And again, the boot off, that's something we still have not figured out. It's obviously a tradition here.
Yes.
South Dakota State.
How long does the shoe stay off?
I mean, we're talking about 13:28 left. I don't know when the boot first came off, but it's still off that young man's foot.
Yeah.
A yacht stays in the game. Oh, looking for contact is Malai Finoti, freshman out of Hawaii. Finoti jumped on the scene in week 3 against Moorhead. First game of his career at 24 carries for 176 rushing yards. Was named the conference offensive player of the week, and then did not play until last week against Tennessee State. Made some crucial pickups for Nick Osmo, who's still out with an injury. Low snap. And Adam Bach makes another play. This time against the run, stuffing Finoti.
What I love about Finoti is he's fearless, right? As a freshman and a guy trying to make his case to be able to see the field a little bit more, down 32 points in the fourth quarter, which seems like everything's going against you. Finoti just puts his head down and probably has the most physical run of the day by this Montana Grizzly offense on that first down.
3rd and 1. A yacht with a carry, stays up, and Bach brings him down, but that's after a first down pickup.
Yeah, if he doesn't stumble and lose his feet, he may still be running right now. One of the best opportunities to utilize kind of that zone read principle. Fake it to Finoti, and then a yacht runs around the edge, had a lead blocker in front as well. Picks up a first down, but it could have been more if he doesn't stumble.
And there is still major confidence and belief in Keali'i Ayat for this Montana program. This is the quarterback of the future. Swings it to Finoti, slips one tackle, gets rid of Bach, but you can't go far until someone else slams you down, and that's Franzel. Part of this three-headed monster, Franzel, Bach, Spalding at linebacker.
Well, we talked about how this colony of Jackrabbits fly around, and they do it so well by being able to, even if one guy misses, they run to the ball and they make explosive plays be minimalized, if that makes sense, right? It's supposed to be more there, but because they run so well, they minimize the gain, and what could have been a first down is now 2nd and 4.
Reverse, there's a freshman, Bridges, has his seam, and a first down pickup as Colton Tilford makes a stop. So 2 touches, most solid plays for the Keldrick Bridges.
Yeah, we're seeing the freshman in the future of the Montana Grizzly. A little bit of yacht, a little bit of Finoti, and then now you got Bridges in there making some big plays. This is the type of drive as a coach, whenever you're evaluating your talent in your team, what do you do whenever it seems like everything is lost? Well, these guys are continuing to play, and you're able to get an early evaluation.
Yeah, still a lot of fight left for Bobby Houck and his Griz team. That's a timeout for South Dakota State. 10:34 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Jackrabbits trying to move in on a trip to the quarterfinals. They're up 35-3. We're back here in Brookings, South Dakota, home of the 2-time champs from South Dakota State, in control against Montana 35-3. The Jacks, the number 3 national seed. Automatic bid. We're in the tiebreaker at the top of the Missouri Valley Football Conference. A yacht to throw. with time. Check down and is broken up by Franzel. In and out of the hands of Finochi. Got to make that catch, and you don't have too much time with Franzel bearing down quickly.
Yeah, Franzel wasn't so fast to be at the point of attack. That might have been the third interception by this Jackrabbits defense, but because of how fast Franzel moves, he was already striking before the ball hit the ground. Finotti, he can make that play. That's something that he's very familiar with. Being able to make that catch also makes it a little bit more manageable on this second down attempt.
A yacht back to the young running back, and that is Dayton McCoy with the tackle.
Absolutely, these young kids are getting some valuable reps, and McCoy, we've heard his name being called a couple of times. I think the injury to Kobe Herter obviously affected this defense, but they have not missed a beat with Matthew Durant's, Tucker Large coming back, and then McCoy being the do-it-all guy, playing safety, playing linebacker, playing nickel, being all over the place, helping state his case for staying on the field.
3rd and 7 for Yacht the Griz. Take his shot downfield, caught and in. What a play by Sawyer Racanelli. And call him the most explosive player in this Griz offense for a reason, and he showed it right there. A Yacht laid it out to him, and Racanelli did the rest.
Well, one-on-one opportunities, we talked about taking advantage of this early in the game. And Dallas Peenham, one of the best coverage corners, not just on this team, but in the FCS, gets beat by Sawyer Racanelli just on a go ball. And then the ball is placed beautifully by a Yacht, and that's what you want to see from your young quarterback, being able to put points up on the board for the first touchdown for the Grizzlies.
That's a team that is not showing signs of packing it in, slowing down. That's an important moment for them as Sawyer Racanelli finds the end zone through the air from a Yacht. You are watching the second round of the FCS championship. Montana finds the end zone for the first time today. Sawyer Racanelli, former Washington Husky, finding the end zone. One of the most prolific receivers in Washington state history. Now settling in with his Montana program. He's overcome a lot of adversity with a couple of torn ACLs in his young career. That was a heck of a play against Dallas Peenham. Great kick at the 5. Prejean will try to reverse and brought down at the 12-yard line. What does a play like that mean in the context of this game?
Well, ultimately, having confidence going into next season is something that you will be able to pull off from. This game is not over either. You're able to get a stop here. New quarterback coming in for South Dakota State. We'll see how that plays a factor, but being able to move the ball, showcasing that you can do that, it's confidence building for this young quarterback. Stands in the pocket, able to deliver a strike, and then Sawyer Racanelli does the rest. But if he was able to make a couple of those throws to Keelan White earlier in the game, the trajectory of this game looks different.
John Bell now checks in. So it looks like Mark Gronski has done his work. He will hand to Amar Johnson, and Amar finds the seam and takes it for 6 yards on first down. Now, important to note out, Chase Mason has returned from injury. Mason is back. He is available in a reserve role, but the plan from Jimmy Rogers coming into this game was to not use Chase Mason in those package of plays where he is a run threat like they did before the injury. So John Bell gets the cleanup duty here. The 35-10 lead, 9 minutes left. Try to earn a trip to the quarters to take on the winner between UIW and Villanova. First down carry by Angel Johnson.
And there again, this offense, South Dakota State, using the shift and the motion to be able to get into that unbalanced look. Now the defense has to place one gap over, and the responsibilities make it a little bit harder to be able to get a tackle before the first down, and obviously they weren't able to do that.
And there's Chase Mason working his way back. They don't want him cutting on his knee quite yet. But that is a potential X factor as this playoff run moves on, because he is a force and has next at the quarterback spot for this Jacks team. Faking the reverse and moving forward to the 25-yard line is Angel Johnson. Hayden Harris, Patrick Hayden in on the stop. Interesting with the mentality for Jimmy Rogers this week, because they're somewhat used to this first-round bye. Talk to us, though, about just cutting back on the practice periods from 24 periods to 19 to try to create a little extra energy coming into a week like this. It looks like that plan has worked yet again.
Absolutely. It's a physical sport. It's a long season. Having a bye week to be able to rest up, get some guys healthy too, plays a pivotal factor in the success South Dakota State has had today.
It did not hit much this week in practice, but man, making up for it in this physical performance is that's Kirby Voorhees on second down, set up a third and more manageable. John Bell. If you're in this situation at this time of year, is it a no-brainer? You're a fan of the bye if you can get it, if you're
Absolutely. There's always worry about accumulating rust or losing some of your rhythm and momentum. But whenever you're so beat up from a season and the way that most teams are at this point in time, you'll take as much rest as you can to be fresh and healthy for the upcoming weeks.
Bell will roll. He's got Voorhees in the flat, finds him. He takes a lick. There's no flag as the Florida native Voorhees picks up the first down.
Oh, they're calling him short.
That looked like
that looked
first
clear
down.
Yeah, it looked like it to me as well. Maybe he stepped out, but we need a closer look at this. But the official is calling him short.
And everybody's looking up at the big screen here.
Yeah. John Bell
Dykhouse Stadium.
And ooh, that's very close. Where that toe is, that appears to be where the official marked him out, where that toe appeared to be out of bounds.
So letting the play clock wind down, I would imagine this is going to lead to a timeout for South Dakota State.
Timeout, South Dakota State. Second
Jimmy Rogers
of the second half
wants to make sure they're taking an extra long look at this.
30-second timeout.
So the line to gain is the 34-yard line. Tough to tell from that angle. I need to see it from a higher angle to see where it is. So he's looking for that last yard marker. And it's tough because the foot is out shy of the 34, but we don't know where the football is in relation to the right foot.
Or even if that foot was out of bounds, I don't know if that's a clear shot to be able to showcase that he actually stepped out in that exact moment. But the official saw.
Yeah, real time though, it looked like a first down.
Yes. And this is pivotal because now you're getting ready to punt it. And it doesn't appear as though Junior Bergen's back to return it, but that's somebody that you don't want to punt the ball to.
Hunter Dustman on, and it's going to be Drew Deck back to return this punt. It's a surprise to me that Bergen is not back. What would be his final game? 20-yard line, corrals this one, and takes it up to the 30. 5:59 left. See if Montana can engineer another touchdown drive, make this a closer game. Had a Christmas parade last night down Main Avenue here in downtown Brookings. Main Avenue, if you're gonna make it a Brookings, is the place to go. It is a delightful street. Nick's Hamburgers, Cubbies, as a yacht is going to be dropped for another sack. There was 3 South Dakota State defenders there, including Zach Wilson and Aaron Wolfkell Holston. Back to the parade, though. I was going to say, great street, even a hobby / aquarium on Main Avenue.
Double duty shows the versatility of what Main Avenue can be here in Brookings, South Dakota.
You don't see that combination a lot of other places.
Not at all. Just in the same way that the South Dakota Jackrabbits had a nest of rabbits getting back in the backfield on their last play.
Bringing it back. Eli Gilman bottled up. Adam Bach, Mr. Pick Six himself, is there with the stop. Noah Thompson also getting some run, making the tackle. What's the mentality here now in the final 5 if you're South Dakota State in terms of winning this game, staying healthy for the rest of the playoffs?
Well, ultimately, like you mentioned, you got to finish this game out 3rd and 19. That's favorable for you. Come away with the dub at all costs, and then hopefully minimizing injury over the next 4.5 minutes. But business as usual come Monday, right? Be ready to rock and roll and turn it back on.
A yacht feels the pressure, runs away from it, and is just going to scamper out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Graham Spalding was there. He was ready to lay some damage if a yacht wanted to force the issue.
And going back to your last question about the preparation for the weeks to come, it's nothing new to this South Dakota State team, right? They've been here before the past 3 years, and they know exactly what it takes to be able to get to the next level, the next round, to get to the championship round, and what it takes to win the championship round.
Maxwell Woods is back. That punt nearly blocked. Fair catch at the 31-yard line. It was a slow build to get this program to relevancy on the FCS level, and then take that additional step to contend and win championships. John Stiegelmeier did a fantastic job with the build, but then they needed to get over the hump. And late in this man's career, we're talking about the final season as a head coach, Coach Stig is able to deliver national title #1. His protege, Jimmy Rogers, takes over, led the Jacks to a championship in his first year as a head coach. And you talk about a guy that was just born to be around the program. Jimmy Rogers fits everything South Dakota State is all about. Not from this area originally, but he has endeared himself to this community. Voorhees getting a block, reversing course, and takes it down to the 38-yard line. There is Coach Stig, 26 seasons as the Jacks head coach, 11 straight FCS playoff appearances, won 199 games, and that unforgettable 2022 national championship. And the way this program is developing with a young head coach that knows what he's doing, knows the brand, doesn't seem like this thing's about to slow down anytime soon.
It's crazy to see how storied this program is from a historical standpoint, and they only won in 2022 their first national championship.
And a flag is down.
Ball start, number 8, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And let's be real, when you're a fan of a program like this and you have a young dynamic head coach, your biggest worry is constantly losing that head coach to a larger program, in this case on the FBS level. I'm not saying that's never going to happen for Jimmy Rogers. There's going to be opportunities, but he is going to have to find something so specific to him and his personality for him to make that jump that I wouldn't be worrying if I was a Jackrabbits fan at this point. Here is Voorhees, and he takes it to the 35-yard line. There's going to be opportunities, but he is all about South Dakota State football.
Well, I think whenever you talk about Mark Gronski and the opportunities that Mark could have had after leading this team to a national championship, not once, not twice, but 3 times, winning it twice, like Mark could have had opportunities to go anywhere, but I think these two are spitting images of what it means to stay loyal to a program and what this program has been foundationally built off of, and that's hard workers that have the right mindset and the attitude to go be successful at the spot that they belong.
And let's face it, as we come up, you're on the 2-minute timeout. That is Woods shaking free, set up 4th down. There's not a lot of places in America where you're going to find kids that just want to work without all the other stuff that's creeping into college football in 2024 as we head into 2025. South Dakota State is all about the right things, as is Montana. Fozzie, you like cheese?
Love cheese.
Okay, well, this is the place for you. Got the dairy bar here, and this is where they come up with this amazing cheese. And you see some artisan cheddar. I saw some jalapeno cheddar, white cheddar,
bacon cheddar cheese.
Look at that, the Dairy Club, bringing it home. Now, if you pick one of those up, do not leave it in your refrigerator in your hotel room. Low kick and scooped up by Drew Deck inside the 15-yard line.
Funny story about what Drew Deck did there. A great job not allowing the ball to continue to travel further deep into your territory, but I remember my old special teams coach used to say, hey, if you're going to do that, fair catch first, because now your return average is hurt by getting a 1-yard punt return. Not that it matters from a numbers perspective, but just a small note for fans or listeners about what special team coaches care
so
about.
we give people cheese and ice cream, expert analysis, and the finer points of special teams. Swing pass to Malaya Finoti. So South Dakota State getting ready to move on. They'll move to the quarterfinal round. They'll take on the winner of Villanova and Incarnate Word. UIW has a 10-6 lead at the beginning of the fourth quarter. It would be another home game for South Dakota State. The only time they would have to go on the road is for the semifinals if North Dakota State is victorious and that ball is nearly picked off, or is it? Chase Van Tol has come up with the football, still waiting for a ruling on the field, incomplete or INT. There's all sorts of confusion by the officiating staff.
The ball's thrown low.
First down, South Dakota State.
I don't know.
That's hard to tell.
Interception.
It appears as though it may have hit the ground, but was his hand underneath at the time the ball goes down? And it was not underneath, that hit the ground. So I think that will be under review and overturned ultimately, but it's a great hustle play.
By the defense, the previous plays.
Yeah, that's an incomplete pass. That was clear as day.
If you're Van Tol, though, that's how you sell it.
Get up and act like you've been there.
It's the ball's thrown low. It's heavily contested, as well as you see. Dante Johnson gets his hand on it. Van Tol is there also trying to make a play on the ball. And Ayat just trying to fit that in a tight window that's ill-advised, and Van Tol tries to make a play on the ball, but ultimately it hits the ground and should be ruled incomplete by this officiating staff.
So elsewhere around the FCS, North Dakota State has come back to take the lead against Abilene Christian. They were in a significant early hole. That, as the 2 seed, would be the team that South Dakota State would match up with in the semifinals if they get that far, and that game would be up in Fargo, since the Bison are the 2 seed.
And we saw that game play out earlier this season.
And that's one of those games, too, that even though South Dakota State dropped it, they have to feel like they shot themselves in the foot.
Yes.
If they played a little cleaner of a game,
especially on special teams,
they win that.
Absolutely. And they took the lead late in the game. You remember, it took a final drive by North Dakota State in order to be able to take the lead and ultimately win it.
Does Van Tol have the interception?
After further video review, the call on the field is overturned. Incomplete pass. It'll be second down for Montana at the 23-yard line.
So did a good job selling it, but at the end of the day, you go to the review, video don't lie. Well, most of the times it doesn't see enough. And that's an incomplete pass for Keali'i Ayat. Second and 10 now. Ayat shooting downfield, complete, first down pickup for Keelan White. What is this also like for these Montana players that are closing out their careers of an amazing run for this Griz program?
It's bittersweet, but at the moment you still have a 2-minute drill, a minute 30 left on the clock. you want to try to execute and leave the field with some respect and dignity.
There's Racanelli, who has the lone touchdown catch for the Griz. Clock will keep winding. And we'll approach 1 minute left. Bobby Houck always locked in. His second stint at his alma mater. And this is a man that is at home. Loves everything about this Griz program. A yacht down the sideline. First down pickup, Racanelli.
And Racanelli went out of bounds and was the first one to touch it. I believe that may be reviewed. Or maybe the officials are saying he was forced out. So there may be an opportunity there that allowed him to not get a penalty for illegal touching.
Coach Houck has a role at Montana. They don't recruit and bring on bad dudes. They want good kids. They got a roster full of them like Kali'i Ayat. Play the game the right way, handle their business off the field. Good people to have in the community, in the locker room. And they can also play the game. This is a program that had Clifton McDowell at quarterback last season. He was a spark, the juice of the offense. Really came out of nowhere. Decided to transfer in the offseason. The real missing piece to this Montana team has been quarterback play. It's been up and down with Fife, the transfer from Fresno, and the yacht. A yacht, the young buck, is just going to be engulfed here by Bryce Hawthorne. That's a Jackrabbit sack. Put the exclamation on this thing. Quarterfinals next for South Dakota State.
Montana, first charge of the second half.
The Griz want to take a timeout with 43 seconds left. Always coaching is Bobby Houck. Winningest coach in Big Sky history. 13th season as a head coach of his alma mater. And you talk about two great fan bases, Montana and South Dakota State. These fans love their teams. Home games always fun. It's been a lot of fun being Brookings, South Dakota twice this season. Had the pleasure to be in Missoula twice last year. Both great places to bring in a college football game, especially FCS playoffs. A yacht low throw. Well, that is complete to Xavier Harris to the 30-yard line. And the clock will take a pause until the ball is reset and then start to run again.
Although the clock is running, this defense is not letting up. Doesn't matter. The same way Montana's trying to score, this defense is not trying to give up a touchdown late in this game.
#1 scoring defense in America. The lofted throw to Harris, going back and inside the 10-yard line for Xavier Harris. Red zone appearance now, 16 seconds left.
Timeout.
And a timeout called by Montana.
Of the second half, 30-second timeout.
So South Dakota State averaging 12 points per game allowed, tops in the FCS. They've held Montana to 10 thus far.
Yeah, and you see the strike there by Ayat, finds Harris sitting in that deep in route and sees the hole, has a great opportunity to make that catch. It puts them inside the red zone, inside the 10-yard line. Now with 16 seconds left in this game, again, playing for a little bit of pride and dignity in this moment, have put together a nice drive on the past or the last two drives that they've been out there. And this can just put kind of that final exclamation mark on the season if they're able to come away with points here.
Shout out to all the South Dakota State students that have stuck around to the finish. Little fade, high pointing, broken up in the end zone by Aiden Donnerman. A junior out of Wisconsin. That was a one-on-one battle.
Yeah, Keelan White goes up for the ball. He high points it, does a great job getting his hands on it, but then Donnerman finishes the play through the receiver's hands. Even though Keelan White had it in his hands, Donnerman swipes away, and what could have been a touchdown turns into an incompletion. 2nd and goal now with just over 10 seconds in this game.
Four-man rush, time, and complete and in. Keelan White. And what is likely his last touch as a Montana Griz ends up as a touchdown. Sixth season at Montana, has given his all for this program. Took him to the national championship game a year ago, and wrapping up the career with a touchdown catch.
If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off, try again, throw it right back to that man, and he hits pay dirt for this Montana Grizzly offense. 11-play drive, 87 yards, just under 2 minutes. That's what you expect to see whenever you're talking about no quit in this Montana offense.
2-point conversion. Jake Olsen, tight end in motion. A yacht to throw. High traffic throw and caught by Eric Barker for 2. And on the extra point attempts, the clock does not run, so it stays with 4 seconds left. That's another senior coming up with a memory. It's going to last a long, long time.
And a yacht has grown up in this game. Just look at this throw. Under pressure, under duress, hands flying everywhere. Barker able to track the ball. Contested catch, guy on his back, and they still convert. And I know it's small, but those are things that add up whenever you start talking about going into the offseason, building momentum, and creating an identity for your 2025 roster. It's plays like that that you can hang your hat on, knowing that the future for the Grizzlies is in the right hand.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you bring a yacht back for next season as a redshirt sophomore. Eli Gilman coming back as well. LaKeldrick Bridges has shown those flashes. They will have the foundational pieces to move forward with another successful campaign in the Big Sky.
Absolutely.
But also, hats off to Gronski. He's going to pick up playoff win number 12 in his career. It's just a different animal. It's a different beast right now. In South Dakota State, they had some people chirping throughout the course of the year that maybe they were vulnerable for the first time in a few years. If that's the case, it's the playoffs, and it's an entirely different beast. And with that, looks like one snap away from sending South Dakota State to the quarterfinals again, off a 4-touchdown performance from their winner at quarterback, Mark Gronski.
That's just what they do. They've created identity for themselves in being able to live up to their own standards that they've been able to create over the past 4 seasons. It's truly impressive. It's hard to replicate the success that they've been able to do. You talked about only 2 teams have done it at the FCS level with 3 championships consecutively. Well, the DNA that this team has goes to show you why they should be in contention for their 3rd this upcoming season.
Appalachian State did it, North Dakota State as well, and South Dakota State moving a step closer to joining them, trying to make it 3 straight national championships. A lot of respect between those two, Coach Houck, Coach Rogers. But for the 2nd straight year, it is South Dakota State ending Montana's season in disappointment. It was a national championship a year ago. This year, it's the right to play in Brookings next week for a chance to move on to the semifinals.
Well, this herd of Jackrabbits found a way to get the job done. They've done it all season, and this goes to show you they know what it means to have championship success.
So move South Dakota State on to the quarterfinals. They will await patiently the winner between Incarnate Word and Villanova. Since South Dakota State is a number 3 national seed, that game will be right here in Brookings. If they advance to the semifinals, it would be in Fargo if North Dakota State continues to win. But the here and now is what this is all about. A dominant performance from the back-to-back champs at South Dakota State. They take down Montana 35-18. Dominant on 3rd down. The defense was stingy and had the takeaways, including that pick 6 from the legend, Adam Bach. Jackrabbits moving on, victorious over Montana. For Fozzie, I'm Lowell. Thank you so much for watching.